Thank you so much, Don. And good morning, everyone. Allow me to share with you some of my thoughts. Where's my control? Okay, next slide. Next slide, please. Allow me to share with you state of Philippine medical cannabis in the next few minutes. I envy you because cannabis is allowed in countries represented here. In the Philippines, it is not yet, but we are hoping it will happen in the next few months. The recent legalization of cannabis worldwide gave strong hope for the Philippines. And in the Philippines, advocacy has been going for over a decade. We hope that cannabis will be legalized in the Philippines toward end of this year. Strictly speaking, that will be medical cannabis. We're hoping it will happen around November or December of this year. And we are very hopeful about this happening this year. Cannabis is still illegal in the Philippines. It carries an imprisonment of up to 12 years, in contrast to homicide of sometimes as low as 6 years. So you can choose your crime. It is currently planted only in very remote areas, mostly in areas where government forces, the military, and the police does not go to. These are rebel-infested areas in very far mountains. The only time that government forces go there is to uproot and to burn them. We call it raid. And this is headed by the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency, supported by the Army or the Philippine National Police. It happens every now and then. They destroy 1 million plants or even more, burn it, and for publicity purposes, that they're doing a good job. Well, that also limits the amount of technology we have in the Philippines because it is illegal to use, to possess, to transport, to store cannabis in any of its form in the Philippines. It is also not allowed to plant cannabis or even for study purposes unless you get a special permit. And you know how to get a special permit? We also don't know. We don't have a special permit. And they always say that there's a special permit, but so far, none. There's none. So it is very, very difficult to conduct study in the Philippines about cannabis. More particularly, we are interested on land-raised cannabis. So the only way we can proceed is when we got an endorsement from the Congressional Committee on Dangerous Drugs endorsing me and my team to the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency so that when they will conduct their uprooting and burning of these huge plantations of cannabis, they will invite me and my team to go with them. They will give us a few hours to study the chemical composition of the plants, and then after that, we move out and then they will proceed with their operations. This is usually done with about 50 to 100 members of the military or the police, or sometimes even combined. Usually this is in very far places. That's why chopper transport is necessary. And this is, again, inside territories of the rebels and even of tribes, armed tribes, I would say. That may also mean that us to do our study for cannabis, we have to go to very far areas, and we are escorted by a good number of military forces just for our security. And it is not very convenient and not very easy to conduct a scientific study under those circumstances. Remember, we only have a few hours. The longer we stay in an area, the more dangerous it is for us. Why do we want to legalize cannabis in the Philippines, just like worldwide? We can have so many benefits. On the average, as a rule of the thumb, 1% of the population will consume cannabis. 120 million Filipinos, that's 1.2 million. This is a gross understatement of the need for cannabis in the Philippines. Assuming half of the population is female, 3% of our females will have breast cancer in their lives. That is about 1.8 million people who will have breast cancer. Males above 60, 50% of them will have prostate enlargement. If untreated, will have prostate cancer. How many millions is that already? Now we add the number of children with epilepsy, or those with Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, depression, anxiety, sleep disorder. We're talking easily of about 5 million Filipinos who badly need medical cannabis. We are pushing very strongly for the legalization of cannabis in the Philippines so that we can provide health benefits to these millions of Filipinos. I am a licensed naturopath practitioner. I see about 100 patients every day. And I have so many centers nationwide, and that amounts to about 50,000 patients every year. Many of them cannot be treated with conventional medicine. Many of them can be assisted with complementary medicine, but I know for a fact that medical cannabis is a solution to the problems or health conditions of thousands of these patients. The legalization of medical cannabis will also provide livelihood to thousands of people. Philippine economy is not the best in the world. We need all the help we can get. We need to produce jobs. We need to promote industries. And medical cannabis could offer jobs to thousands of these people. And it will eventually add billions of pesos in taxes to the local government and even to the national government. We see this as benefits that we can get from the legalization of cannabis. There are a total of 9 bills in the Philippine Congress, starting from 10 years ago up to the present. What was our activity since the last 1 year? It is to consolidate all of these bills into one substitute bill, an updated version to reflect whatever difficulties or challenges or probably mistakes that happen in other countries, learn from those mistakes, and apply better options in the Philippines. We're hoping that the Philippine bill will remove some of the difficulties or challenges or unnecessary provisions as experienced in other places. Well, that's me as part of the technical working group, and that's my son over there. This lady in blue is the former president of the Philippines, Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. She sits in the Committee on Dangerous Drugs, and she also sponsored the bill for the legalization of medical cannabis. These 9 bills have been sitting in Congress for the past 10 years until the former president asked a special person to shepherd the bill in both Congress and Senate. That person is with us today. Let's give a big hand to Ms. Annie Andanar, a special consultant to the former president. And if you notice also with me, in the middle picture, blue coat, is another member of the technical working group. Ralph is there. We have been working hard to consolidate all the bills and to make them as close as possible, the Congress version and the Senate version. Why? We would like to avoid a bicameral committee wherein the House version and the Senate version are too far apart that needs a committee to combine both. We would like to avoid that. And sitting on both technical working groups, sitting on both committees, allow us to make them as parallel or as close as possible. This will cut time also. Well, here are some more of the proposed bills and some more. That's the version authored by former President Macapagal Arroyo. Now, as of February 7, the Joint Committee on Health and Committee on Dangerous Drugs in Philippine Congress already approved the substitute bill. And while we were here yesterday, we received the notice from Philippine newspapers that 13 senators of the Philippines already signed the proposed bill. Why is 13 significant? Philippines only has 24 senators. 13 means majority. Over half of the Philippine Senate already agrees to that. We are not yet happy. Ms. Andanar wants to work on 17 signatures. And combined, we hope that this will be passed before the end of the year. Now, who are among the senators that signed and what is the significance of this? First is the principal author, Robin Padilla, quite famous in the Philippines. And the next two are the chairman on the Senate Committee on Health and the Senate Committee on Dangerous Drugs. Having their signatures on the proposed bill means a lot. The next two signatures are coming from the Senate Majority Floor Leader and the Senate Minority Floor Leader. These 5 people putting their signatures on the proposed bill means huge significance to the legalization of cannabis in the Philippines. Now let's digress a little bit. Let me tell you a little bit about our company, about BauerTek. It is a BauerTek is pharmaceutical technologies. We are heavily engaged in research and development. It is one of the most advanced nutraceutical and pharmaceutical company in Southeast Asia. Later, we can probably discuss more about that. And we do manufacturing, and we have our own plantations. What plantations do we have? We manufacture drugs, supplements, herbal supplements, and cosmetics. In the process of making or manufacturing our food supplements, we realized that a lot of the ingredients does not have commercial scale plantations. So in partnership with the Philippine government, in partnership with several agencies, and in partnership with institutions of higher educations, we created farms in 3 regions of the Philippines. How big are those farms? Practically almost unlimited, because those farms are in partnership again with the government. We plant our own herbs and we extract them and we manufacture them within our own facility. Oh, by the way, that's me in the middle picture. Those are not banana trees. Those are turmeric that is supposed to be this tall and that tall. We grow it up to 7 feet tall and 8 feet tall. Rhizomes, instead of 200 grams, we grow them up to 3 kilos, 5 kilos. The purity of curcumin is very high. Once legalized in the Philippines, we hope that we can implement the same technology that we're using for these herbs in the cultivation of cannabis. We are licensed to manufacture drugs. We have GMP for that. Licensed to manufacture supplements. We have GMP for that. Licensed to manufacture cosmetics. And we are also halal certified facility. In the past 1 year, BauerTek joined the advocacy for the legalization of cannabis. We held weekly media health forums to promote or to dispel a lot of the stigma about cannabis. So we did this on a weekly basis for the entire of 2023. These are some of the media releases that we got based on those conferences. And this one was towards the end of last year. In November of 2023, we did groundbreaking for our new facility. It says about 2.75 billion, translates to about $50 million, 16 hectares of facility, which we intend to prepare for cannabis. There are some more of those releases. Oh, what's DOST? That's the Department of Science and Technology. To put up modern research and development facility in Nueva Ecija. This press releases, this news, you can see this very often in the Philippines. Why? Because we are very friendly with the media. We want their support so that we can get the support of the public. And we would like to thank all of these publications. They have an organization, the Publishers Association of the Philippines. And the president of the Publishers Association of the Philippines is also with us here. Let's welcome Mr. Nelson Santos. If you notice, standing second from the left there, he is the president of the Filipino Inventor Society. We're happy that they joined us here also for this convention, Mr. Ronald Pagsanghan. The proposed Senate bill was intended to be very strict in terms of regulation. The initial plan is to have one huge license for everything. But knowing that it will not be easy to do, we recommended 5 smaller licenses. What are those 5 smaller licenses? One is a license for cultivation. Not everyone can just plant. It's not just planting corn or rice everywhere. It has to be in a fully secured facility with secured by fence and with CCTV and full security. There are many regulations to that. That's one license. And another license to be given is for processing and for extraction. Since we will only be allowing medical cannabis, so we're talking about real processing and extraction of the active pharmaceutical ingredients. And then after that, another license will be required for manufacturing, another license will be required for distribution, and probably fifth one for dispensary. So there are 5 licenses that will be required to do if anybody would like to do all of this, or they can only do one. If a company is only interested to do cultivation, then they only need license for cultivation. BauerTek has existing farms in several provinces, and we will qualify for license for cultivation. BauerTek is now doing processing of herbal herbs and the extraction of herbs, and we will also apply for a license for extraction and processing. We also have existing license to manufacture drugs, and BauerTek will also apply for a license to manufacture cannabis drugs. The same with distribution and dispensary. That is our existing facility. It is located about 30 minutes north of Manila. Many government agencies and officials have been there, and they take BauerTek as a benchmark for other manufacturing facilities to follow. Everyone who went there are surprised. They were expecting that they'll go to a manufacturing facility. Once inside, they still ask, where is the manufacturing facility? Because it doesn't feel like a manufacturing facility inside. I don't know. Some describe it as being like in a hotel or being in a mall or something. That's why we have a lot of our lawmakers go there so that they can also learn and implement the same standards to other companies in the Philippines. Some of the things we do. Inside our manufacturing facility, since it is pharmaceutical grade, we control a lot of things. Among them will be temperature, moisture, air pressure between the rooms. There should be the negative pressure and the positive pressure. We also control the amount of particles in the air. Requirement for a pharmaceutical manufacturing facility is not more than 100,000 particles per unit. So we got tested for that. The result says we are only 10,000 units, or 10,000 particles per unit, or 10 times better than Philippine standards for manufacturing facility. I lost my magic. Oh, there. Quick look inside our manufacturing facility. It is existing, by the way. The only thing not existing there is cannabis. And we will be very ready. The moment cannabis is legalized, all we need to do is put them as what's that, raw material and start manufacturing. We have our farms. If it is legalized in the Philippines, all we need to do is to vacate some of the areas and replace them with cannabis. Oh, some of the products that we do, we have weight loss products, we have vitamins, we also do drugs. I even did drugs for COVID, COVID-19. These are some of the partnerships that we have. The top three are with the government agencies, Department of Science and Technology, the Department of Agriculture, and the Commission on Higher Education. The Department of Science and Technology awarded us as the best setup for the entire province for 2023, as well as the best setup for the entire region for the same year, last year. With the Department of Agriculture, they're very supportive, and the Commission on Higher Education. We are doing projects for them in support of the state universities and colleges, such as the Isabela State University, Mariano Marcos State University, Nueva Ecija University, and most recently, the Central Luzon State University. What are some of the things that we do there? We have plantations in those areas. We have model farms. And then we teach the community how to do the farming, and then they farm, and we buy all of their outputs and process it within the processing facility inside the farms, inside those universities. Now, some of those universities offer health and medical courses, and they need training not just for their students, but also for their professors, for the academe. So every 2 weeks, we receive about 10 faculty members from not just this, but from other state universities. We train them inside our facility so that when they go back to their schools, they only have knowledge, they have knowledge not just from the books, but also from actual use of the equipment, laboratory tools, and so on. Even on production, we teach them. Batches of 10 faculty members every 2 weeks. And we've been doing that for quite a while. This is the new BauerTek facility. It is located 3 hours north of Manila in a city called the Science City of Muñoz. That is where we will do our cannabis extraction and drug manufacturing. As of now, we cannot call it cannabis extraction. We call them the extraction of the extraction of active pharmaceutical ingredients from high-value crops. The moment cannabis is legalized, then it will be extraction facility for cannabis. Right now, it is extraction facility for high-value crops. We will implement EU GMP standards in that facility. This is where initial processing will be done. This is really intended to be a separate building from the main extraction for sanitary purposes or to avoid contamination. This will be the Cannabis Training and Research Institute. A building is allocated for that purpose. And this is a 100-bed dormitory or staff house, all within the same facility. And we also have VIP complex. In case you want to go there, in case you can help us learn some more, you will be accommodated in some of those, and that is within our farm. Timeline, November 2023, we did the groundbreaking, fourth quarter of this year. We hope completion of the phase 1 facility as well as legalization of cannabis, first quarter of 2025 there, and then by the end of next year, fully licensed to cultivate, process, extract, and manufacture. And you know what? We allocated 40,000 square meters for the buildings, 40,000 square meters for greenhouses for the clone and nursery, and 80,000 square meters for outdoor farming with a standby of 1 million square meters of adjacent farm standby when the demand increases. Oh, this is a study submitted to the Philippine Congress. It shows the amount of people in the Philippines who might be needing cannabis. They converted the value to pesos, and now I converted it back to dollars. And Philippine market alone is approximately $180 million a year. We hope that the Philippine standards will be acceptable to international standards, just like what we're doing with with some of our products. We hope to learn from other countries just like you, the good things that you did, probably the challenges that you did, and probably some of the mistakes, so that we can all learn from each other. Thank you so much. I'm Richard Gomez from the Philippines.